Let's go up. Let me find this comment. Let's start off with.
We already got a comment.
Let's talk about Bill. I mean, Bill
Bill
Cosby.
Cosby,
Bill Cosby.
child. You know what? Do you go first, Frank? Because
Okay.
I don't
Nah,
know.
I'm a kind of mess everything up because
Worse,
originally
worse than
before
him.
no, I couldn't. Like originally before this, I was like, yeah, man, free Bill. They just, trying to bring another black man down. And so I went and Googled Bill Cosby timeline, which I'm trying to bring up right now.
Okay,
And this timeline starts back from like
he's
the
old.
80s.
He real
I mean,
old.
not the timeline of him or his comedy, but
Okay.
these allegations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting to seem to be so much. It's like, is it
Mm-hmm.
possible that all these are untrue? So with
Mm-hmm.
his case, it was
Mm-hmm.
dismissed because of not because they found him not guilty, but because he made a plea and they couldn't go back on the plea like they did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that they found him not guilty or he made a plea that if he talked about this certain thing, they couldn't use it against him.
Okay.
So that's the way
Kind of
that
like like double jeopardy. Like if I got in trouble for it one time, I can't get in trouble again, type
in a
stuff.
in a sense, in a
Okay.
sense. So is he guilty or not? That's my big question to everybody. Is he guilty or is
Some
he?
something in my spirit is telling me he did it. I don't know why. Like
But
I see people take up for Bill, and I cannot take away what he has brought to just our culture as a as
that's
just as him putting the black family that's affluent on TV, that's a collective whole, that's functional. I appreciate him for the Cosby Show. I will always appreciate him and give him his flowers for the Cosby Show.
most
But
of it. But okay,
I feel like when it's a surplus of women and everybody has this, like I've seen so many just conspiracy theories about it. Oh, he was about to like buy NBC
I
or one of
see.
these
Right,
major
right, right.
networks. And that's why, it was set up that these women came out, with all the allegations. But I'm like, but it's so many women.
Many, and it
It's
didn't
like,
happen.
and it's not going away.
Right.
So when I see stuff like this, like I'm gonna use Ti and Tiny for example, like the Ti and Tiny thing that came up kind of towards the end of COVID, where the girls were kind of coming out saying that, of course they swing. And I think they admitted to being swingers or whatever. They didn't go into detail, understandably. But just women coming out saying how they were drugged and raped, and then it just went away. See, when stuff like that happens, that's kind of what makes, because I try not to question victims and I try not to victim shame, because the one
Right.
thing
It's a thin
I have,
line between that two, though.
right, but I have to put myself in a woman's shoes who potentially was sexually assaulted and think, man, I want to have the safe space to come out and say this happened to me and for that individual to be prosecuted. So I never victim shame out the gate. But you have to raise a question when you have those instances like the Ti and Tiny allegations, and then all of a sudden 3 weeks, not even a month later, no one's talking about it again. No one's bringing it up. It's
Right.
gone. It make you question stuff. But this Bill Cosby thing is not going away.
Well,
That's kind of what make me be like,
let me come back to Ti and Tiny thing.
I wouldn't trust him with my drink.
Yeah.
No.
So that was a social media push. I don't think I'm gonna say from me reading, I didn't see anything about him dropping the Quaaludes in their drink on the slick. I think they were willing partners. They all knew what they were doing.
Hmm.
Blah blah blah. But like the Ti and Tiny thing, it's kind of like how the Bill thing started. He paid them off 2 million, 1 million. They couldn't talk about it. They got a gag order with the money. So
Hmm.
you get so many years where you can't bring it up. So just because
Hmm.
it went away doesn't mean it actually went away.
Right. True. True.
But my question was always, what are you doing at a man's house at 12 at night, 1 in the morning, 2 in the
Hmm.
morning?
That's a
You know,
valid
like
question.
what you expect? I don't expect him to try to take it from you, but if you don't
Hmm.
expect sex from a dude
Those humping hours.
Those humping hours. You know what I
So
mean? After you,
that's something that I also need like a little more intel on. I'll be the first to say, I don't know all the details in the Bill Cosby allegations. All I
yeah,
know is that it's a surplus of women that's coming forward with similar stories. And
correct.
it leads me to believe that the method for him to potentially do whatever he has to do is via drugging. So
I
I
can
don't know if
see that
how
though.
how does all of and then people also brought up the fact that the women who supposedly are accusing him of this aren't attractive. That's another thing that I'm kind of like, I just feel like we see like one thing about cat is cat. You know what I'm saying? And to a sexual predator or a sexual deviant,
No, no, I'm
it's a
not gonna say.
power thing. They don't care about how you look like that. Like a lot
I
of
would
them
say that.
really don't.
Right. But
Like you
cat
got
ain't
people,
cat. Cat ain't cat. Yeah. Let's
and you expound
not to
upon
cut
that.
not to cut you off for
No,
anything
I
like
want to
that.
hear more about
But
this.
cat ain't cat
Like
unless
pussy is
you are a sexual
pussy.
predator or some weirdo. Because all cat and all women is not the same. No. Continue.
Well, it's not the same. I'm not saying that, but
But
I just
listen,
feel like
they said Bill was giving them pills. They took them. He didn't force it
all,
down their
all
throat.
the
He didn't
women.
drop them in their drink. Majority. He didn't
uh,
drop it in their drink. He didn't
So they,
like
so it's safe to say that it could possibly be a few women sprinkled in there who were actually sexually assaulted and drugged.
possibly. I mean, I'm not gonna after reading this timeline on and it has from 14, three or four
Hmm.
cases in 14,
Hmm.
cases that stem all the way back to 2006,
Hmm.
like 10 cases, 2005. These are reported cases. These
Hmm.
aren't cases that people are popping up now and say, oh yeah, he did this to me in 15. A lot of these are reported
Hmm.
cases. And he had such a good image that the DA in these places weren't picking the case up. Who would really go against Bill Cosby at that time?
I mean, it's really hard to make some of these things stick, especially with for those women who this could have happened to and they waited so long to come out.
And that's
So
a question I
I
want to
could,
ask too.
I could,
Why wait?
okay. So I always like read dialogue and stuff that people are discussing in regards to these types of topics. And so some women made a really good point and said like if you are fearful of scrutiny for coming out and speaking against somebody, sometimes after something immediately happens to you, and I'm going to just do a sidebar real quick. I'm very like blessed to say I have not been put in a position to where I've been raped, sexually assaulted, none of that. Like I just
Yeah.
have not been. But I,
Come by
I,
my
I
side about
do,
2 in the morning.
I do, you know what? I do like to put myself, you play all day. I do
Duh.
like to put myself in a position of a victim. So if I'm shaking up, if I'm kind of like in a mind frame of man, if like anything could happen. My career could be at stake. My image could be at stake. My family like could be in danger. I could be in danger. We're coming out and speaking on this person. Certain things like that, variables. They're not. They're
That's
gonna
true.
make
That's something
you
you
not
don't think
come
about. They
out.
got power.
Yeah,
They got
they're
certain
gonna
power.
make you not like. And we're talking about a well-known guy in the industry.
Entertainment.
People may
Yeah.
get blackballed. Anything could happen. And so when you're thinking like that, yeah, we all know what the logical next step should be get a police report, get a rape kit immediately, do what you need to do in order to get this person convicted. But a lot of women, they are scared to do that. And then when you see how women are responded to when they
Or
say
how
they
people
were
respond to the
raped,
women.
yeah,
Yeah.
when
Well, that's
like
something that's true. That's true. Because
when
look at
you
the
say
people with
they're
T.I. and
raped,
China.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like
The people with T.I. and China,
why
yeah,
would they
like,
do
yeah, them
that?
people was there. Because I feel like this. Certain things as a woman, and you grow to this space,
Hmm.
certain situations you don't put yourself in. You know what I
True.
mean? Certain situations, hey,
Yeah.
nah, I'm not gonna go with this guy alone. I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
him. I'm not gonna go with these people
If it's
alone.
more than I don't like even now at my big age if they're not family like blood like I don't like being in rooms or even houses apartments with and I'm outnumbered by guys. I don't. And I'm not saying that, and
Nobody's
it's
looking
sad.
to
And
gangbang you or
and
rape
I mean, they
you.
might not, and they might not want, and that could very well not even
But it's a
be
smart thing to
their
do, though.
MO.
Yeah, I
But
agree with what
just
you're saying.
how I move,
Yeah.
because you know me, I think I'm naturally paranoid. I watch so many of these shows, First
I don't
48
think
and all
I
that.
just think you gotta
So
think past the situation. Like
yeah,
you can't,
and
you don't
I
want that to happen. You don't. It's the
And
way.
I
It's
could
the
know a
first
guy
thing.
forever, but trust and believe if I'm kicking it with one of my homeboys and another guy walk in, and I don't care how long I've been knowing them. If I come over your house and I'm kicking it with you, strictly platonic, it ain't even got to be nothing shaking with us. And
Right.
more than one guy walk in, if he not like a roommate or something like that, and he just chilling, I'm probably gonna only stay like another 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna move around.
Well, I thought it would be safer that the third guy walked in
I
because now
just
it's
don't
like,
feel
okay,
comfortable. I don't feel comfortable
you need
even to
better
this
friends.
day.
You need to get
Well,
out of the SOC friends. That's what the fuck you're
no,
talking
I
about.
don't. I don't. I'm not gonna. I'm like that with everybody, unless you're my
Yeah.
blood relative. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't
See,
be
if
in
you was in
rooms with
Alabama,
multiple
Mississippi, you
guys.
still have to worry about your blood
Yeah,
relatives.
to get true.
You know
To
what I'm
fact,
saying? Yeah,
very
you're in there with your
emphatic
cousin. It just
place.
doesn't mean anything.
But yeah, I don't like, and even in college and stuff like that, I don't. But this is the thing. So this is something else that I also saw brought up. As women, it's sad that some of us even have to move like that,
Most certainly, I
because
agree.
that doesn't necessarily mean that a woman who is chilling with multiple guys, one or two platonically, that doesn't mean that, oh, because you stayed, you deserve to get raped. You know what I'm
No, I'm not
saying?
saying that. And
I
let me
don't
stop
ever
you.
want to put that
Yeah,
narrative out
let me
there.
stop you to say what I'm not saying that at all. So I'm not agreeing. I don't even see the point of even raping a woman. I don't even see what you would get the enjoyment out of
Because
it.
you're
That don't
because you're a normal human.
right. I am not trying to. I'm trying to save all my breath
Mhm,
for humps and pumps. I'm not trying to wrestle you down. By the
mhm,
time I wrestle you down, all I can do is lay on top of you and just. So I
mhm,
don't see the need or the point for a
mhm,
person to even have to do that. So I'm not agreeing with what happened. I'm just like, this just is a conversation. This is a conversation people have
mhm.
that other people can't have. Like I said, like on a few shows back, and we don't have no damn
Absolutely.
sponsors. We don't have anybody that's telling us what we can't say or will say. But it
Mhm,
just, I think this conversation to keep you out of some of those rooms. Like you saying, you don't live
mhm.
in the room with one guy at a time enough that you can wrestle off. If you
Yeah, I
feel
can
like you
fight him.
out,
I can
right, if you
fight
feel like you're getting outnumbered,
him.
you need to go, hey, go outside or leave or
I
whatever
holla
the
at y'all,
situation
or
is.
we need to go on somebody's balcony, something like that. I've
Right.
always, and I feel like it's instinctual for me. Just I'm very, I have great situational awareness, and I'm not saying that that doesn't mean something can still not happen. But know and believe that if something ever happens to Nino Brown, Nakia, she like they were good, because I tend to like look out my peripheral. I'm always peeping the scene. I'm always making sure who in the
What's going
room.
on
Oh, we
around
got
you? Right.
two dudes over there. Oh, okay, I'm facing the door.
Yeah.
I just always been like that.
Why
So
so?
you know what? I don't know. I
Yeah.
just think and I noticed it with my mother too. My mother and myself, we are naturally very, very aware of our situation, aware of our environment.
Around us.
If
Right.
like for instance, yesterday morning I was dropping my kid off, so my kid go over her people house in the hood. I'm dropping my kid off. I noticed a guy was walking through the apartments. Now it's early morning. I hear all the time about jack boys hopping in the car when you get your kid and doing da da da. And
Yeah.
so I drop her off over there. But I noticed what I did, because I already saw him walking on foot while I was driving. He by himself, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, he up
okay,
to no good.
yeah. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
what he's doing, but he
Either
ain't gonna
that or he
get
just
me.
checking his motherfucking mail and
So
he
what
stay
I
over there.
so
Shit.
what I did, because of how I operate, I backed into the parking spot and I waited until he passed by and went to wherever he was going. I then got out the car and did what I needed to do with my kids. See,
Yeah.
everybody don't do that, and I know for some it seems like it could be exhausting to be that situationally
Well, that's
aware,
life.
but
Yeah.
I've always been like that. Like, don't nothing get past me. I can tell when people are like in a restaurant, like an IHOP or something, they scoping out the place to see before they jack it. I've
Yeah.
literally, if I get that feeling, I've literally got up, left my plate, and left, because I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, it's 12 o'clock at night.
So you
For
low
some,
key just running out on meals and act like you being well.
listen, I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
but I move like
Got your
I'm
picture on the wall at
very,
our house.
I'm very observant.
You got to be observant, though. I
I
agree with
keep
that.
I carry my gun everywhere with me. I know a dude I used to date be like, man, I don't know what happened to you, but I don't know why you always gotta come over here with your gun in your purse. And I'm like, it ain't nothing happened to me. That's the thing. I'm scared for something to happen
To
to me
happen.
or
Just to
mine.
being prepared.
So
The readiness.
I alleviate.
Yeah, the readiness. Man, we got comments going crazy.
Okay,
Let's see what
so
they come by. So
we
is he
talking
Pill
about
Bill or is
I
he Dr.
so
Huxtable?
you think he guilty or not? I say guilty.
I'm going with guilty.
Okay.
And I only start feeling this way this week when we picked this topic.
And
And
it's because of
so many allegations, so
okay,
many
it's just
gag
about
orders that
allegations.
he put a bunch of gag orders and so many
Mhm.
claims that he paid. Now let me throw this out there. Let me say this. A
Okay.
person paying a claim is not an admission of guilt. It's not.
Okay.
So and I had this conversation with somebody else and they looked the same way you looked. Say if I'm
Okay.
Bill Cosby,
Mhm.
if I had to go to court and fight court, it might cost me $2 million anyway.
Mhm.
I might as well settle out of court for you for $200,000 and just let it be over with.
Okay. But that still doesn't mean you're not guilty. You just went about resolving it a different
Doesn't
way.
mean you're not guilty. Doesn't mean you're guilty. Just means that you resolved the issue, and it could have just been for the financial aspect of things. You also, if I got to come to court, I can't work. You know what I
True.
mean? I'm
So let's just go ahead and pay this person out. I did
pay
it. We're
this
gonna just
person
pay him
off.
under the table.
Doesn't mean that they're
So
always guilty.
that's something that should be kept in mind. Like you need to keep in mind that even if a person avoids jail time and is let out
Doesn't mean they're
whatever,
guilty.
doesn't it does technically they guilty, they just resolved it a different way, so that it's labeled as
Oh,
something
right,
else
right.
instead of guilty. So yeah, he did it just was resolved a different way, so technically he is guilty. But if you're thinking about it from a litigious standpoint, legal, then it didn't go on paper as guilty because he
Tell
settled
them
it
that word
differently.
again. What's that word?
Litigious.
Litigious. Y'all got that? But listen,
Litigious.
but Bill kind of got. I actually think it was worked out that way anyway because I don't know his demeanor was always that I'll be getting out soon. I know this is gonna happen. Don't worry about it. So maybe that was a deal that they made anyway.
Like
But
he was lax.
a few of the people who came up and told and gave their testimony weren't even allowed to because they had
Mhm.
already went to court and lost the
Mhm.
case. And so the courts already had deemed them to be not guilty, and they still kind of use that against him.
Hmm.
So before this, I thought they kind of like hooked Bill up,
Mhm.
but I'm kind of leaning more towards guilty. Let's see what everybody else think in the comments. What y'all
All
think?
right. So Wesley said, "I can separate the man from the shows." Absolutely. That's why I kind of led with the
I
fact
agree.
that he brought us the wholesome black family functional unit, both affluent in their neighborhoods. Like I can never take the Cosby Show for him. Okay, so this is Charles Boyd. I know his name isn't showing, but it says, "I think Bill is guilty of partying and using drugs with willing participants." And we discussed that. And Frank said, "You said some, correct?"
Some were definitely willing. Majority
Mm-hmm.
say that they were not forced into where he was. Let me say that, but they were
Mm-hmm.
forced, and he was demanding about sex. But a lot of them didn't say like he ripped my pants off or he
So
was
that could just
forceful
mean
physically.
he's a hard lover.
Yeah, no, it just mean that he's saying, "Hey, I've gave you $600 and bought all this food. We having sex."
That's rape.
So
It's
yeah,
rapey.
so
It's
and if you say,
rapish.
"Well, yeah, come on, let's go," that's different.
Okay.
But so I was in the Bahamas this week. I'm gonna be real quick. And these
Okay.
my wife's shopping. I'm just like sitting down, and these
Mhm.
girls was like, "Oh, where you coming from with all this stuff?" Like coming three little young girls. And so
Mhm.
the girl's like, "I want to move to Houston, blah blah blah, Turkey Lake Hut, so forth and so forth." She's like, "They got a lot of sugar daddies out there." And so I told her,
She
"Girl, I'm like,
sound like she looking at you like you won.
yeah," but she quickly found out I ain't got it. So I told her that people don't understand and people don't think about nobody's giving you something for nothing. That's why I
I
made
agree with
that
that.
comment.
I agree with
So
that.
all these people, what the trade off is, but then at the end of the day, they act like they don't.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
this
Because
is
they got the leverage. Because
so
even if they're being honest,
I'm very logical, and I too believe that ain't nothing for free. I think that in the past I have insulted some men because they were trying to gift or do certain things, and yeah, I'm gonna take it, but I knew it wasn't free, and I stated that. What are you
right,
expecting from me?
right, and you're not
And
gonna get that. So if you want to take this
right.
back, you might want to take it back.
What are you expecting from me exactly? And I'm gonna
Right,
let you know off the muscle what I am and am not gonna do. I don't
right,
want you wasting your time. I'm a little mean when it comes to that, extremely assertive, great at setting boundaries. Let you know what is and what isn't gonna happen. So if you just gonna gift it to me, go on gift it to me.
man. Listen, if
Because
I was Bill Cosby, T.I. Rich, I would flat out buy pussy.
it's
I would just
people
buy it. I would buy it. I would
it's
put it right on Instagram. I would inbox you and say, hey, and I would record every session.
it's it's
Hey,
people it's people out there who are doing that,
it
and
makes more sense. It makes more sense. You can't come back
there
on
are
me and
workers
come back in 9 years
who
and
will
change
cater
it
to
up.
that. Yeah,
That's right.
that's true. Instead of putting yourself, now that's another thing with men too. Now I hear a lot of people always want to critique women about putting themselves in certain situations for things to possibly happen. But men also need to take into consideration, especially if you like an athlete, any kind of affluent dude, y'all got to move a certain way too, because these types of things can happen. So why even get a devil a
Why to
foothold? Like
put
if
your
you
so right? A lot of these guys are being manipulated and played,
Mhm.
and that's one reason that the women aren't being taken serious in the first
That's
place.
that's the whole reason why
Yeah.
non-disclosures were made. Like if I were rich and I knew that what goes on in this house stays in this house, whatever you agree to stays here, you're not even kicking it with me without signing a non-disclosure.
So,
But
but you
again,
can
like
sign a
I said,
non-disclosure, but if you rape me, I still can file a rape case.
well, no, well, wait,
It
what?
just mean yeah. So we can do non-disclosure. I mean, I can't talk about this party. That's on some Jay
Okay,
Z and Beyonce type
no,
stuff, right?
you can't talk about nothing that happened at this party.
But you can talk about if you were sexually assaulted. That's something that we can't. You can't
Well,
hide on
well,
paper.
no. But that's the thing. In the non-disclosure, to my understanding, from some of the affluent people that I know, to my understanding, a non-disclosure, you can actually put in there if you want. You can have one for sex. You can have them for different things. You can
Right.
clearly state
Consensual sex.
if we have consensual sex tonight.
We
What
can't
goes
talk
on in
about it.
this room? What goes on in this room stays in this room.
Okay.
What you were not forced. This will not leave here and be spent
Okay.
into a story. You can actually word that in a non-disclosure. Anybody that's a lawyer that knows a little bit more, that's maybe an SME on this, please feel free to chime in. But based
Okay.
on what I
Well,
was
listen. So
told,
let's answer what
that
you
is a
said.
protective measure that can
Let's
be
listen to
used.
what you said. If we have consensual sex, we can't talk about it. That's fine. You sign it at the beginning, or you might even sign it at the end.
You can
But
have in
once
there
you
you weren't forced too. From my
right
understanding, you
now,
weren't
if you sign it
forced.
at the end of the night, then that's different. But if you sign it the
Mm-mm.
non-disclosure in the beginning, and hey, at the end of the
That's what
night,
you're supposed to do.
or the next day I wake up and I feel like I was molested, my underwear were on backwards, then I could still go file a police report. So let's see what these comments say. Some people over here agreeing with me, and I like when they do that. So Made a Pace said, I think he did it, but I also think they were okay with it to get what they wanted at the time. I totally agree as well. And I think that a lot of those people were okay with it because he was popping. They was expecting something from him. They was expecting to get put in the mix. They was, shit, just like everybody else. They want something. Vanessa said that's exactly how I feel. I know she was agreeing with me because I'm always right. You just can just accuse someone and not question the accusations. My man Chance say just getting some meat.
And that was Charles that said this statement. You can't just accuse someone though and not question the accusation. Absolutely. I mean, but that's what court's for. But at the same time, I feel like the victims oftentimes get way less, like when in a lot of situations like this, when it comes to people who are affluent and known for positive things like Bill Cosby is, people always question like the
He's
victim super
guilty.
duper hard, and I don't
Yeah.
like that. Like, I'm gonna be hard on both parties, if anything.
What I think,
If you're gonna go that route, be hard on Cosby too, as just as hard as you
look,
are
but I
on
think
Bill.
this. I think if
I
there's a
mean, on the
if you
victims.
find out that the allegations is false, they
Hmm.
should get a felony charge because that
Absolutely, I agree with
one
that.
mistake, like
I
those
agree with
like
that.
those basketball players that they could accuse of rape,
Yeah.
then you come back 4 or 5, 6 years later and say you were lying. No, that person's life is never going to be the same because what they had in front of them were millions of dollars. That
Hmm.
should be a felony offense, and that would stop people from making a lot of these pointless accusations.
So Charles said, if you took the money, you shouldn't come back and claim the victim. But if they were the victim and they took the money, they're still a victim. That don't change the fact that they're a victim.
But it seems like I wouldn't take the money. I would want to see you in jail or hell.
Facts. That's true. But it doesn't. It still does not
Doesn't
like
mean that they're not a victim.
pay me for my pay. So I'm the type of person, like, say for instance, like, now anybody that know me know I'm a letter writer. When it comes to customer service, anything like that. Like I said, luckily I've been blessed not to be put in any of these types of situations. But I'm the type of person, I want to, like, if that were to happen to me, I'm gonna ruin you. I want to break you and ruin you. You're gonna pay all of that. So yeah,
So what would matter more so, the
I'm gonna take.
financial aspect
No,
or jail
of
time?
course, jail time, of
Okay,
course.
okay.
But you're gonna get dragged. Like, no, you violated me. I'm gonna publicly humiliate you. You
Right.
violated me, and on top of that, I want to make sure that you don't do it to nobody else. So,
Yeah.
just playing the devil's advocate and saying, as far as to why people may do a settlement and still speak out, why would I, like, if I see this man going out still
And
in
enjoying
these
his life. Yeah.
social circles, it's other women who do not know he moves this way,
Who he is. Yeah.
because we handled it behind this,
Yeah.
under the table, or whatever you want to call it. I'm still gonna speak out because, baby, that's Bill
Hey,
Cosby.
and then
He
I
gonna
would feel
drug you.
wrong as a woman
So
or
that's
as
why.
a to see him with somebody else and know
And not
I can
tell them.
almost guess what's gonna happen next and not try to give him the heads up. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that it makes
I agree
perfect
with that.
sense as to why somebody would take settlement money but still
Take the
speak
money.
out on it. I want people to
Right,
know
right,
who you
right.
are. You're a monster. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If
I
that's
agree.
the case. So that
Even if you a monster.
it makes sense. If I hit a nigga after midnight, it ain't to have Bible study. That's true.
No. But see, I didn't put my name on here as Pastor P, but you can have a little church after midnight.
So when I said cat is cat, Charles Boyd said, if it's mustard cat, I don't want it.
Thank you.
Understandable.
What is his name? Charles Boyd. Thank you, Charles. Let the text say amen.
Ah!
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
Okay, gag orders. Tiana said, gag orders, non-disclosures. I think all of them are kind of in the same family in regards to covering your, like, CYA, covering your ass. If you're rich, if you have notoriety, and unfortunately, yes, there are people who are going to come or plot on you because of who you are. So I'm not negating that those types of individuals exist. What I'm
That's out
saying
there.
is, to protect yourself so that you don't end up like Bill Cosby, like you don't end up like a T.I. and Tiny situation. If you know that you out here wilding out, having these elaborate, elegant parties, and
Sex parties.
y'all
Similar invite.
swinging, y'all having a funky good time, drugs being used, everybody doing them.
Right.
You had your bouncer or your security guard collect them phones at the door. You get them non-disclosure agreements signed, and you make sure that things are set in place that can't come back and bite you in the butt.
Yeah. That
Period.
just seemed like so much, man.
Oh,
Listen.
don't let me get no money.
I would
I'm not saying I'm gonna have like sex parties, but please believe anybody that's kicking it with me, that's not a day one. And I mean,
you ain't
sometimes day ones turn on you because of money.
yeah, because they want the
But
money. They want to be you.
some people are like that. But anybody outside of my day ones kicking it, baby, you signing a non-disclosure. You can't get on this yacht until you sign some
Yeah. What's
docs.
happening on your yacht? That motherfucker need non-disclosure.
I don't know. I don't know what
Hey,
could happen, but you
I
ain't
got
finna
my
talk.
pen ready.
You're not finna talk. So let me see. Charles Boyd said, how did he had a good image, and there was a plea agreement, as you stated, in the 80s.
Well, he did have a good image because I mean, your PR people fixed that. If
Mm-hmm.
the sexual accusations go away, and all you see is Dr. Huxtable, and all you see is him donating to schools at track
Mm-hmm.
meets for black youth, and you can that goes away. Not
Absolutely.
that the stain isn't there, but it's almost like washing your clothes. They tried to remove the stain, even though somebody from the '80s still has the hurt. The world doesn't see it as much.
Mm-hmm. Charles Boyd said a female grabbed my meat when I was in the 6th grade, and she out of line,
And I
and you
like,
should have reported
but
her.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it,
But
boy.
and that's the
Yeah.
thing
I was
too.
hoping
Like,
a teacher would rape me when I was coming up. No teachers raped me. But go ahead.
I'm I'm never gonna be the person like, oh, it's okay for a woman to do it and not and a man to get, like, no, if a female is a sexual deviant, report her ass too.
Yeah.
If a female's out here touching little boys or
Which that's
grown up
happening
is
more
up here,
often
it
now
does
than
happen.
the
And
men.
when I see it on the news, I'll be like, put her ass under the jail too.
And I want to know why nobody raped me in high school.
That's the
I
part.
mean,
But see that right there. See, no, but like, let's touch on that. So I know you're joking, but
really, let's touch on that.
why are
Why
you this way?
nobody took the time out to sexually misuse me?
You must be stopped. That's all I'm gonna say. So this, like, it's wrong. Period. Woman, man, baby, Billy Goat. It's wrong. It's wrong. Don't unwanted touching, peeling, drugging people. You out of line. You out of pocket. You need to go to the jail with Big Bertha in them
In
and be put.
2015, two women
Yes.
accused of Bill Cosby for his sexual misdeeds.
Hmm.
He gave them a drink and they began to feel foggy. So
Okay.
he was still dropping the pill Cosby out there. So maybe
Maisha
so.
said, agreed. Censor how you move. I'm gonna read a couple more comments and then we're gonna get to the next topic.
Okay.
So Maisha said, per the rape statistics, 85% of women are raped by someone they know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, I've read the same
That's
thing. And
horrible too, though.
it
That's
is. It's
real
out
weak,
of
man.
line. But
You can't even
you
trust
gotta,
anybody.
but you know what too? I feel like not all the time do you know who a deviant is, but you sometimes, and see, that's the thing. I'm very happy I move how I move because I feel like I have extremely good discernment. And I always be around like certain people, or not always be around them, but certain people to say stuff, and you just gotta listen.
And
You
catch
gotta
up to it.
listen, and you gotta open what I like to call that third eye. People will tell you whether or not they kind of throw off by
You catch
things
the
that they
vibe. You just
say.
have to allow
I
yourself
catch
to.
it.
Yeah.
I never have to state it. Like, it's people that I know of right now, they ain't did nothing, but I wouldn't leave my kid around them, and
Right.
I most certainly wouldn't be around them by myself because of how they move. What things that they have said, I'm like, something off with you. I don't know
Right.
what it is yet, but I'm watching you. I damn sure ain't about to be in a room with you. And that just goes back to situational awareness. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
I
See,
do
I don't
believe
trust
people.
anybody, which is my problem. I
Yeah,
naturally don't trust you. You got to make me
yeah.
trust you. I don't just start off
Yeah.
thinking that you're a good
Everybody
person.
start off with a F, not an A.
With
But
an
some
F. Right.
people
Most certainly.
operate, oh, I'm gonna give you an A until you work
Yeah.
down to an F. I don't move like
Well,
that.
by that time, they've misled you.
Hmm. So he said keep Mississippi out of
Brandon, my
it.
bad, man.
Right. It's so many willing people that'll give it up for a 10-piece nugget meal. That's right. You don't have to
Yes, you
rape
don't even have to
nobody.
feed them. I'm telling you, like, you don't have to feed them.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Sex is a fair exchange, no robbery. A man don't owe the woman nothing, and the woman don't owe the man nothing. That's fair exchange. Let's get that out
So
there right now. We'll
so
talk about that
Maisha
too.
Maisha said, Frank, who asks for trauma? I guess you
Some
made a
people like it.
statement. No, you talking about people who like
Not that kind of trouble though.
sign up.
No,
Yeah,
I don't. My
ain't
wording and
nobody
my
asking for rape.
no, and that's what I was just gonna say. My wording and my saying may be a little
Mm-hmm.
different, but I don't condone or agree with none of that. I really don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
anybody. There's so many, like Tiana said, so many people that's willing to do
Mm-hmm.
anything that you like.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so we're gonna get into this next topic. So now that we done talked about Bill Cosby, me and Frank both say he guilty, correct?
I
Guilt,
say
guilty. All the signs
Bill is
point
guilty. It hurt me
point.
to say that too.
Really? Why?
Yeah,
Are you
because
attached?
you
You
want
don't
some,
want you
yeah,
don't
you
want
want
chocolate
some black man to
pudding.
have a good image. You like they
Yeah,
already got Kelly. You know what I
that's
mean?
true. We're
Then
gonna give him.
Deshaun Watson out
Yeah,
there.
give him one pedophile. Like we
Yeah,
don't we don't need a whole lot. Just
and
one. We
see,
gonna.
we demonize them so much. Like we make that live with them in the black community,
Oh
which
well,
is should, which it should.
it's certain things, man. Pedophilia. If you that, and that's the one thing people should not play about. That's why I agree with you when you were like, women who lie about that should go to jail because that does not leave you.
No,
Especially me being a woman and a woman with a female child.
yes,
If it's even a inkling of somebody, like they can just suggest it and not say
right.
it.
Well, that's
I ain't fucking with you.
that's something too that I
I ain't
wanted to
coming
say
around
is
you.
even if you go to court and get found not guilty, we still remember you as the rapist. We don't
That's
remember
it.
you. Like the headlines are huge to say that you're the rapist, but they're real
Right.
small to say found not guilty.
Right.
So
Absolutely. So that's it. Like if you get that put on you and you out here lying on men about that, you out of line. You out of
yeah,
line.
I
That's
agree,
just something
man.
you
I
don't
agree.
play.
And
That's
men
something
that's
you
out here
don't play
doing that, they out of line
with.
because I mean I don't see any like it. You can
Absolutely.
go
So
anywhere and find what you want.
yeah, you
Pay
can.
for
It's
it.
out here. You can pay
Pay
for it.
for it.
That's
Yep.
simple.
Yep.
So let's go to this next topic. So we got Drake Bell. So y'all, I didn't watch this show at all. I just know, was it on like Nickelodeon or Disney Channel?
It was a
So
Nickelodeon / Disney Channel. It was a kid
okay.
show. Yeah.
So
We
I don't feel like we'll be on this topic long, but he was also accused of sexual assault. From my understanding, it was a 12-year-old girl that he groomed. And so that's another thing I like to talk. We can definitely talk about grooming. I don't think a lot of people understand what grooming is. And that is basically when an older man befriends a young or
younger.
an older woman
Right.
befriends a person underage, makes them feel comfortable, makes them feel like they're a safe space, and then at
And
a
then
certain
boom.
point they're very calculated, they're very
Right.
manipulative, very convincing that sometimes they get in good with your family, pick you up from school, all of that good stuff, right?
Yep.
So he supposedly made this young lady feel comfortable, and at the age of 15, that's when he sexually assaulted her.
Right.
He also had a bit of notoriety himself, and of course, even though he may have been either right at 17, 18 when his show was thriving, he did eventually go into adulthood and was still popular amongst younger kids because of the show.
Right. Because of notoriety at a young age.
Right, and the kids just followed him still because I think
They
shows.
go on. Those guys are adults on those kids shows.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I
Yeah.
feel like the show, even if the show ended, it was still reruns, and he still had a huge following of people who were underage. So, um, he only got probation. So
Yeah.
I have a friend, Wesley. I don't believe he can come on, but he did hit me up when he saw what our topics would be, and
Okay.
he is a PO, and so I want to be able to read all of his comments. So I'm just going to go to Facebook first while I'm trying to pull up Wesley's comments so I can read the whole thing. What
So
brought your attention to Drake
what
Bell?
I normally do every day is read like Yahoo News because it gives you like synopsis around the world, not
Okay.
just like local Houston news. And so when I seen this and they said he
Mm-hmm.
was charged with child endangerment, that's what the
Mm-hmm.
headline said. It didn't say sexual assault, it said
Mm-hmm.
child
I read
endangerment. I
I
said,
read sexual assault when I looked it up.
yeah, so it kind of popped. I'm like, I wonder what, next click, next ticker.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading what he did,
Mm-hmm.
and it's getting got deeper into it because this is not child endangerment. This is
Mm-hmm.
rape. This is a sexual assault,
Flat out
and
sexual
then
assault.
flat out sexual assault. And in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of it, they described who he was. He just wasn't a regular, white guy. He was a child actor. He groomed
Mm-hmm.
a little young girl, and
Mm-hmm.
then he had a relationship in a sense with her at the age of 15.
Okay. So they were they a item? Were they a couple?
I don't think they were an item. I don't think they were a couple, but I think the sexual interaction happened more than once.
Okay.
And this don't quote me this on that. That's just me reading, like browsing over. More and more I'm
Uh-huh.
reading, I'm getting angry at the fact that because it said he had 2 years probation.
Hmm.
You can get you got a guy in Louisiana right now fighting to get out of jail that got caught with weed that's serving
Hmm.
25 years.
So that's always pissed me off, right? It's always pissed me off that people who have drug offenses, non-violent drug offenses, get way more
Well,
time than rapists and pedophiles.
and
And
why
I
is that?
and for anybody that knows me, I have a very special kind of hate for rapists and pedophiles. And the reason being is I know so many women who were molested or raped as a child by either a loved one, not even, I'm not going to say a loved one, a sick family
A
member,
family member, yeah,
a
because
sick
they don't
family
love it.
member because they don't love them,
Yeah,
or just a person. And even as an adult, they can't shake it. They never gonna like be at 100 mentally. So I have
how
a
can you?
special.
How can
You,
you when
you
you gave me
can't,
the person that you only
understandably,
you start thinking you can trust the people in this house,
yeah.
and the person in this
So
house broke your trust. How
I
can
have
you?
a special hate for a pedophile. Like the
I
one thing
agree.
that's like I will probably smile in the mugshot after executing a pedophile. I do
Yeah,
not like them.
I agree. I agree.
And so it always sickens me when I read headlines about pedophiles and they get like a slap on the wrist. Like I feel like they shouldn't even make it to the courthouse. If you're a real one, they shouldn't even make it to court.
I
So
think the fact that the truth that lie behind all this is just like any
mhm,
other charges, like cocaine and crack. Black
mhm,
people are getting caught with crack.
mhm,
Others are getting caught with cocaine.
mhm,
Black people are getting caught with drugs. Others are getting always been the rapists,
mhm.
the pedophiles, so forth and so forth.
I have very
I'm
special
I'm,
hate
I'm gonna
for
change that though. I'm not gonna say more so. I'm not gonna say
them.
more so. I'm gonna say report it more so. Because as
Mhm.
you get older in the black community, you start to realize that more and more of us hear about my uncle touched me,
Yeah, it
my
comes out.
cousin raped me. It comes out. We sweep it under the
Absolutely.
rug in the black community. We
I
kind
ain't
of
with that. Tell me
yeah,
immediately.
we,
Like
we we sweep it under the rug. But when
and
you
I've heard people say, "Well, I didn't tell my parents because I knew they would shoot them or go to jail." And I'm like, "That's bullshit." But
yeah,
I
it's
have
not.
to empathize still because it's like, well, if you love your father and your mother and you know they're gonna pop up, because my baby gonna know. You tell me
Yeah, I'm going straight with bad mind.
I'm gonna take my time on the chin. I don't even care. F this apartment, F this
I
car.
ain't even gonna take no time.
I don't care. But I'm I'm going on a tangent. So my friend Wesley, who was a probation officer, I feel like he would be an SME on why Drake Bell just got probation for his accusations. And I'm gonna read his statement because I was able to find it and pull up the whole thing. So he said, I have many people on my caseload for the exact offense that Drake was given probation. Crime is crime. You could get probation for adult sexual assault just like you could get probation for regular adult assault. People can get probation for molesting a child just like someone can get probation for beating/neglecting a child. It's all about your record. What the ADA wants, what your paid in quotes, not court appointed defense attorney can hook up, and what the judge approves. That decide your fate. But Drake has to register as a sex offender, and that is no joke. Your life is over if you have that stamp. That's worse than a felony conviction. People on the registry can't get an apartment, job in most cases, and in some states you have sex offender in big red letters on your ID. If even if Drake got 2 years, that sex offender stamp is equivalent to life, in my opinion.
I don't. I don't agree. Let me tell you why. Because yeah, if you were a regular guy working a regular job, trying to stay at a regular place, you would be worried about an apartment. You'd be worried about a job. But this guy is probably a 10 or 15 year millionaire that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't ever have to work again and
Mm-hmm.
can still live the life that he lives. He doesn't have to. Who is he showing his driver's license to? He don't have to go to a job interview. Who is he trying to release an apartment from? He's
Mm-hmm.
that's nothing. That doesn't equate. That's not it. That doesn't equate. Go get when I got pulled over. When you take me to jail, put on my license that I'm a drug dealer and
Yeah.
let me go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Put on my license.
I see the comparison.
Right. Why is it okay?
So for
Yeah,
him,
that's just
because his special circumstances that make him the exception is the fact that he already has millions. So
that's right.
if he never makes a dime again and just
He's still okay.
become is a good steward of his money, he can still be comfortable. Is what you're saying?
You still, yep,
That makes
yep.
sense.
And that makes a big difference. You should go to prison like everybody else. Get that wall, get that scar, something on your mind that you know that you can never forget. Just like the little girl that he neglected, she never
Hmm.
can forget it. You know, yeah. And then you come home and file as a sex offender, like every other rapist that's out
Hmm.
there. But
Yeah.
see, it go farther back than just like the DA and the attorney, but the judge approving it, the DA approving it,
Hmm.
that should be criminal. That
Yeah.
should be something that you can protest the court on. There should
Yeah.
be some more checks and balances set in place because we all know they had to get some kind of payoff for that to happen.
Yeah,
Should be
it has to do with money. So I mean, and it does raise the question as to whether or not here we have Bill Cosby and here we have Drake,
right.
and it
But
raised the question like should you raise the like okay they both out of line,
the Bill
but
Cosby really out of line though, because it stems back farther than this Drake guy. I ain't gonna be
right.
biased, but
But
Bill been
it's the same kind of offense. So is it safe to kind of start assuming like, yo, you got a lot of these Anglo-Saxons out here doing the same thing, getting a slap on the wrist and that good old sex offender stamp and going on about their day. Should be but Bill, it's like okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. The only reason Bill hasn't got the sex offender stamp is because all of the women were of age. That's safe to
no,
say.
no. I think he didn't get the stamp. He didn't get the stamp because the case got dismissed. Doesn't
Mhm.
mean they won't bring another case up or try to charge him again. But
Mhm.
this particular case that they finally charged him on got
Mhm.
dismissed because he made an agreement with the ADA
Mhm.
and he made a statement that was never supposed to be used, which got the case appealed and overturned.
Gotcha.
So that's why. And I'm surprised this Drake Bill guy even had to got the sex offender stamp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With such a sweet deal like that, 2 years probation.
Yeah.
Probation. You know,
Yeah. It
come
make
on,
you
man.
it make you question everything.
It
But
is.
let me go and look at these comments. So I'm gonna go up and I want to make sure because I hate that when I go on the group page for those individuals commenting on there, it's kind of
That's your
giving me
name.
hell to see what's
Yeah.
going on. But now I can see I'm back on task. So someone let me see. I
Let me
think he
try to
is
help you
guilty
out too.
because he was set up. I think he was guilty because he was set up. Let me see who said that. Who said Bill was set up? Let me see.
That's
Cause
what I thought at first. I kind of felt like, yeah, man, they're just trying to bring another one of us down. They're trying to,
hmm
you know,
and that was a lot of people's mind frame. Okay, so that
but you
was
have to
Sauce.
think that way because they are trying to bring us down.
That why
Don't
was the
forget that.
almost kidnapped. Let me see. Somebody said not guilty.
Right.
That was that Bashir. That was the homie Bashir said not guilty. Okay.
I'm cool with that. I like the people have their opinion, but I
Hey,
just feel like it's
it takes
so
way too
many.
much industry and it takes way too much energy to change anybody's opinion. So we can agree
Yeah,
to disagree for sure.
it's so many allegations. You know, I
Hmm.
know a lot of that's mixed in with people that are just out there to get the money too. So I'm not gonna act like just because.
And that's kind of what makes you be like on the fence because unfortunately, like I said, you do have people that come after you because of the notoriety and things of that nature. So
Right.
Jaterica said facts. That shit ruins lives, even after the person really didn't do it. As far as allegations go, yeah, man. So because of that alone, if you are out here lying on individuals to get a payout, you dead
Right.
ass wrong. I do believe in karma. That shit gonna come back to you and bite you in
Yeah.
the ass. And I feel
That'll
like
come soon enough
and
though,
I feel
man.
like and I feel like if it comes out that you lied, you should definitely be charged criminally.
Because think about those college players that never get to make it to the league because
So
the rape allegations.
So Charles brought up Tyga and the Jenner girl. Yeah, that he was out of line too. He a pedophile. Like, listen,
I don't know nothing about that.
I'm okay. So Tiger is like a rapper from LA. You know, we ain't jamming him down south like that. I don't think.
Okay.
No shade, no tea. But so he was messing with what's old girl that's with Travis Scott? Got a baby by him now. Kim
One of
is
the Jenner
Kylie.
babies.
Kylie. So Kylie Jenner and Tiger was dating.
Hey, Kim
Tiger's
K look like an alien, by the way. Go ahead, finish that.
I'm not. No rebuttal. So Tiger supposedly was dating Kylie Jenner. So when you got situations like the consensual dating of a minor, even if the parents are okay, whatever. Me, I'm black and white when it comes to this. It ain't rocket
Shouldn't be
science.
no. Right.
Wrong is wrong. So that's one
Yeah.
thing. So that about me, that's one thing people will never say about me. Oh, you said this was
You
okay, but
shaky.
that
Yeah,
ain't.
you shaky. Right, right,
I
right,
don't
right, right.
I'm not here to contradict myself, and I make it a point to not contradict myself. If you are a woman and you are of age and you are dating a minor, you out of line. If you are a man and you are of age and you're dating a minor, you out of
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care if the
yeah.
parents are okay with
And the
it. I
mama
don't.
out of line. The mama out of
Yeah,
line. The mama ain't never
everybody in
pimping them people
everybody
over
in
there,
the
man.
mix. Everybody in the mix is out of line. I don't care if the
Yeah.
parents okay with it. Oh, she'll be 18 in 8 months, and
But
no,
wait till 8 months. Huh?
you move like a pedophile. Period.
Yeah.
Point blank. Tiger
Right.
gonna be a pedophile for life. If a woman did it, she a pedophile
So
to me.
why is he, like, why wasn't that a big deal? Because I had never
Period.
heard about him or her or that.
Well, it was so it was maybe and that was it was a whole thing on social media and in the reality world, you know. So he was Tiger supposedly had already had this kid with Black China. That kind of is what prompted, I think, Black China to date the brother and have a baby by him. It was a big mess, a big Hollywood mess per usual. But
Oh, so the
um
babies
so
are like
Black China,
cousins
Black China
and
was like a friend of the family. She was like Kim's friend. And Kim's little sister Kylie kind of moved in and dated her man. And
mm,
so it was a whole issue, but a lot of people focused more on the fact that Kylie supposedly backstabbed back Black China because she was supposed to be like her sister's friend. And they kind of overlooked the fact
the
that Tiger
age.
was a grown ass man dating a kid. So I didn't overlook it because again, how my brain is set up, I don't contradict myself. It's very pedophilia, molestation, that type of
Right.
shit, very black and white for me. I'm the wrong person to even like try to paint a pretty picture to and that
Some
it's
bullshit.
okay because I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh, I ain't trying to hear that shit. That's it's some bullshit to me.
Right. That's
I
some
call
bullshit.
bullshit. So yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, I'm not here. I'm not for it. So here someone basically is let me see. Race and being a team player to the system. Okay. So that pretty much
Yeah.
okay, that's what
It's all
Bashir
about
said.
this system, man.
Yeah. So let me
We
see.
catch the bad shit.
Her mama
I
was
think.
pimping her. He said that about Kylie Jenner, for sure.
Yeah.
No rebuttal. We on the same page.
Yeah. Most certainly.
Jaterica, that stuff is very common amongst Hollywood and music. Yes, it is.
I
Yes,
agree.
it is. You do
Yeah.
have to kind of sleep your way to the top in a lot of those industries if you're not already locked in, unfortunately. And I don't agree with it.
Yeah. And like R. Kelly, like I wouldn't leave my kid at the studio with R.
Yeah,
Kelly,
and
knowing he
everybody,
like, well, I'm not leaving. I didn't leave my kid at practice.
right. I don't leave my kid with a pastor, let alone R.
Right.
Kelly. So I
Right.
feel like everybody in those types of equations need to be held at fault. The parents,
Parents, the
it,
friends, the people
every
surrounding
adult,
him,
every
everybody that knew
single
what was happening. Yep.
every single adult needs to be held accountable. You
Yep.
played a role.
If you know what's going on, you definitely should be held accountable. And
Bashir,
that'll stop all the BS, excuse me.
for sure. Bashir said, man, this world is ran by them pedophiles. Absolutely, it is. Maisha, it's classism. That's what the law is about. That's true. As
I
far
agree.
as one person getting probation and a slap on the wrist compared to another.
Totally
So
agree.
so yeah, man, we all pretty much are on the
So
same page as far as the pedophilia and all that go, you know.
my suggestion is just buy the pussy. Just buy it. You don't have
Frank
to take it. You don't have to
Frank
talk
has
up on it.
spoke.
You ain't got to fake on it.
Frank has
They got
spoke.
they got coochie in all price ranges. So you don't
All
have to be you
all
don't have to be a
price
rich man.
ranges, all flavors, all
Yeah.
shades.
Yeah, you don't gotta be a rich man. Just pull
Pick
up
your
on
poison.
it.
So since we're talking about the purchasing of the draws, this is a lighter topic because we always like to kind of have balance on the show. We want to talk about something heavy, and it's light in a sense, but it's not. But
Yeah.
I was telling Charles that I had saw this and I came across some really, really interesting points um in regards to sex workers. So right now, I don't think it's a lot happening in this good old red state of Texas because Texas, we
We slow on
unfortunately
everything.
we mostly Republican, very
Yeah.
conservative states. So it's not necessarily happening here, but I think states like Oregon, Nevada, just some of those more liberal states that are very open to decriminalizing a lot of drugs and a lot of other ways to make money. So sex workers right now kind of speaking out, and I saw some really interesting points of views on sex workers that kind of touched on the fact that it was just kind of touching on how a lot of people enjoy porn. And sex workers, for those who don't know, based on what I read, it falls in the category of if you got an OnlyFans, you could have a foot fetish channel,
Yeah.
you could be a prostitute, you could be a call girl, you could be a what is it, a call the call center, what's it, the phone sex operators, you
Yeah.
could be a
You
dominatrix
got a
who
pretty good
merely
voice for
yeah,
that.
don't tell me that. I'll
Yes.
fill out an application.
Yeah, you
Hello.
don't have to fill out the application. Just give me
Yeah,
your credit
yeah.
card. Yeah.
You could be a dominatrix. You could be a submissive. Like it's so many realms of sex work that you could be in, right? And so I think I can speak for a lot of us when I say when we get with our significant others, or sometime when we by ourselves, ain't nobody home. We want to light a candle. We want to love on us a little extra sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And we watch these things, but some of us judge the very content that we enjoy. Some of us,
Right.
some of us talk down on and are very, very disrespectful
To the
to
sex
to
workers.
these individuals who provide a fantasy, which is a luxury. That's what a lot of people don't fail to realize. Like when we're indulging in these things, when we want to pay for the strip club or pay to see certain channels,
Hey. Make
we're
it clap,
that's
clap,
a
clap.
luxury that we decide to pay for, and these people actually make money off of that. So I think for the most part in Nevada, I want to say I think sex work is legal.
I
If
do
I'm not
believe so. Yeah.
mistaken, that's the
If it's not, they
only.
acting like it. That's what I can tell
No,
you.
it's legal. It's legal. You got to pay some taxes and stuff. But yeah, you could open up like a brothel and things of that nature. Anybody that knows a little bit more about this, please feel free to chime in. So the argument was sex work is work for one. For two, um, it don't matter how they're getting money, they should be respected. And for three, how are you judging the very things that you indulge in? And I agree with all of that. So I
Yeah.
told Frank my standpoint on this matter is, am I a sex worker? Would I do it? Not necessarily. I'm blessed to make money doing something else. But I
It's slow on my
definitely,
end. I'm thinking about
I,
switching this
de-
side.
I definitely,
Yeah.
I've always raised the eyebrow. So I know sometimes I've talked about this either in other settings, and I always raise an eyebrow at people who enjoy porn but judge porn stars. That's completely weird to me. I think you're a weirdo. Like I don't think you're a bad person, but I think you're weird and I think you're a walking contradiction.
Well,
And
what
I
if you
think
don't
you're
watch porn? What if you don't watch porn? What if
and
you like it?
if you indulge in, like, now if you don't watch porn, then maybe you can have a little leeway to say, I think
I'm
that's
not into
nasty,
that.
blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
even even if that's not the case about the actual person, because a lot of these porn stars
It's just
have
the image. It's
regular lives. Yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah.
practice safe sex. They
They're
go get
acting.
test. They go
Yeah,
get tested outside of porn. They go home to their spouse. Their spouse knows, and they live normal lives. And I just feel like if it's something you definitely indulge in, how dare you judge people who make money off of the sex industry? You like
yeah,
it. You're
yeah,
walk, and I feel like it's very self-righteous of people to judge those that do those kinds of things. Like, who do you think you are? You like it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
So I agree with the sentiment that sex work is work. And then I saw one that one screenshot I sent you. the young lady basically made a comparison. So somebody said, "Oh, I could never sell my body for money," whereas some of us
I
have.
could go
But you
ahead.
know, I guess that was for the individuals who feel like they're above it or whatever. And the interesting statement she made was, well, some jobs are taxing on your body. You could, if you do any job that requires manual labor, you're breaking your back and you throwing your hip out of place for another
Right.
corporation,
For
for
a small
another
fee.
company, for a small
Yeah.
fee, for payout.
Right.
What's the difference between you throwing your back out of whack,
And
going up on a
making
forklift, and this
yeah,
girl putting her body on display and doing what she got to do to get a check, or that,
right.
or this man on, you know, OnlyFans with the towel on his thing, making it jump up? Like, what's the difference? So
Right. I'm gonna have to
I
learn
just,
that trick.
I really, I just really empathize with the sex workers and some of the things that they were saying, and I agree.
I agree with him too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think they should be disrespected. And one thing I can say, that even before that whole debate became like very mainstream, um I always went to the strip clubs and I never was disrespectful to any of the workers.
So
I felt
you hand him their money here, ma'am.
yeah, well, not
Here you
even, but
$2, ma'am.
not even that. But you know,
You're not throwing slapping on their ass. Ah, yeah.
I've been to strip clubs before, and the dudes is like, yeah, this B and this. I'm like, dude, like, if she all of that, why are you here? Like, that is really weird to me. You literally like this shit.
Yeah.
So if that's your
You
vibe,
didn't pay $20 to get in the club to complain.
if she's providing you a service, like, you went in there, you came to her. She didn't ask for
Yeah, she
you.
didn't. Right, right, right.
So,
I
but you
think
in
all this stuff
here,
is safe enough to stay away from it.
it's
Like if you don't
weird.
like it, stay away from it. Like you ain't
Yeah.
got to go in dig us.
I
You understand what
I
I'm saying?
just
You
know
ain't
that
got to get on Pornhub.
just know that if you are one of those
But
people who
I am.
enjoy if you are one of those people who enjoy strip clubs, enjoy porn, enjoy kinks and foot fetish videos, and you talk down on them, I'm looking at you real weird.
Hold on. I'm
You're
gonna cut you. We're
self-righteous.
not even gonna let's beam it up a little bit. So what they call tricks, it's a disrespectful business. So is a man a trick or he just paying for the entertainment?
But I think trick is a slang word for a John or a patron. I don't think it's
Why you
disrespect. I
gotta be
think
a
it's the
John? I just
same.
want to be a patron. Just call me
No,
a
but
patron.
it's literally the
Yeah.
same.
Give me a bag
It's
when I leave out of there. Say thank you for
nobody.
shopping.
It would be different if somebody, now, if somebody said you a simping ass, you a simp,
With Marquez trick.
you a mark ass. Yeah, if
Yeah,
they
that's
if
kind
that
of
now,
how it's done.
to me that falls along the line of disrespect. But to me, if you call somebody a trick that's paying for a service, he's actually a patron, and that is just a slang word for patron.
Right.
So I feel like some men literally
A
go to the
negative
strip.
slang word.
Some men go to the strip clubs just to be disrespectful. My G, go, like, why are you there? Like, them
Yeah.
girls didn't ask for
Yeah.
you, and
Go to
that's cap.
church. Go to
It's
church.
cap. You a lame. You whack.
Yeah. But he couldn't
Them
go to
girls didn't
church on a
ask.
Saturday night at midnight. That's why he ain't
I'm
go to church. That's why he went to the strip club because he couldn't go to the church. He want to go around the strip club and pass out Bibles.
it's whack to me, and it's really weird for y'all to like enjoy all of these things sex wise and talk about these women. So I do stand with the sex workers who are currently like speaking out and protesting and asking that
This is crazy though.
prostitution they asking that prostitution be decriminalized as well. So here's another thing. I feel like if a woman or man wants to
Show
sell their
body.
body, let them.
And if you're old enough,
Let them.
yeah. Let
How
me
is
file
it hurting
taxes on
you?
this wood. Let me file taxes on
How
that.
is it hurting you? You know what I'm saying? Even I'm blessed to have never been put in a position to have to do that to survive, but how is that hurting
I
you
wish you
or
wasn't an
anybody
SOC
else?
so you could be put in some of these positions. You ain't in none of these positions because you were an SOC.
No, I'm not. But listen, one thing I make it a point not to do, Frank, is say never would
What you
I
won't
ever
do,
and
what
all
you
this,
won't do. Right,
because
right, 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 right.
one thing about life,
Life
if you
happens.
baby, if you're not humble and you out
Life
here
happens.
judging people, and this ain't just
Yeah,
to Frank, this to all of you
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
not humble and you out here judging how other people get their bag,
Sooner or
baby,
later, yeah.
you better pray, hope and pray. Not saying it will happen, but hope and pray. You ain't never rubbing pennies together and
But
having
check
to go
this
out
out
there
though.
and sell
Yeah,
yourself.
you have to go meet Nate. Hey Nate,
I'm in a
listen,
bind.
I'm in the bind,
I'm in
Nate.
a
But listen,
bind.
a lot of what I thought about when we were talking about this, a lot of people aren't actually physically having sex though.
That's true.
Let's let's look at the stripper.
But
Here,
that's why I had to make a point to like list the types of sex workers, because the dominatrix literally is getting paid for men who have fetishes of getting tortured. She's just getting paid to spank people.
think about OnlyFans. Like you getting
Yeah.
paid to jack off when you was gonna jack off anyway. Like you're getting paid, and you know they got some of the people that's like the top 1%
Mm-hmm.
of OnlyFans,
Yeah.
and they not even having sex.
Yeah.
I don't see why people pay for porn when you can watch it for free. First off,
Some
that's
people just
number one. That's a whole nother topic. Like
it's the rush, but I definitely want to get to these comments because y'all are going crazy. So how do y'all feel about these sex workers, man? Like, do you feel like they're like, are y'all out here disrespecting them? Do you feel like their job should be considered a job? Should we go
it's a job,
ahead
it's a
and
profession.
decriminalize all this stuff? So hold on, let me get past the Bill Cosby
If
comment.
you're over 21 and you want to, let them do their
Mm-hmm.
thing. Let them do their
Okay.
thing.
Hold on a
America
minute.
controlling everything but what they should control. They should control that little white boy that had that sex relationship with that 15-year-old girl. That's what they should be
Mhm.
controlling.
They should. So let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Y'all, wait. I'm trying to
Oh,
get
they went
past
in
the
on the sexual
what?
harassment of the
What?
rape joint.
I
Yeah.
they like I'm up here scrolling and scrolling. Okay, with a person. I just have an issue with those whom have superiority complex. Okay. Okay, here we go. I
Come on up.
somebody say I
I
like to
like to
cuddle with
cuddle
strippers.
with the
Who is
strippers.
this? I know that's right. Like strippers
Yeah.
need love too.
That's an extra fee though, Holmes. You don't get to cuddling like that doesn't you got to pay for that.
Oh, Charles, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
But so okay, so strippers,
Charles said like a cuddle.
I've seen strippers like not have to do nothing. They got a little $20 just to hold somebody and listen to them. Like y'all
Right.
have to understand. And that was another comment I saw on Twitter. This lady made a very good point. She was just basically like the
He died
world
on Twitter.
the world consists of so many people who are lacking like a loving, caring ear, an attentive person. Some men and women just paying people to listen to them, to hold them, to caress them.
Right.
I say they're
A lot
doing a
of time it doesn't
service.
have to do with sex.
It
Like it
doesn't.
doesn't always, I mean, it's sexual, but it doesn't have to do with sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So think about this. This is my comment. I'm gonna throw this out there and I'm gonna ruin everybody's day. Look at how
Uh-oh.
much coochie you done gave up or how much wood you done gave up for love. Then it turned out to be false love. What if you could have got $1,000, $500 for every session?
So why not allow these people to
Yeah,
monetize they genitalia? I don't see.
right. You
I've
let them sell
never
pictures. You let them sell
I
pictures
have
of porn.
never disrespected or talked down on a sex worker in my life. I think y'all should continue to do what you do. I am here for your freedom of getting
Could you
your
date a stripper
bag.
though? Could you date that stripper?
However,
Could you date the
uh,
stripper? I think I could.
I could date a stripper. I think
Yeah,
I have. Did I date a stripper in college?
yeah,
I
I
think
think I
I might
could.
have dated a
I've
stripper.
never
I had
dated
so
a
many.
stripper.
I've dated a stripper. I have,
Right.
and I felt perfectly fine dating a stripper, and it was normal. He wasn't practicing moves. It didn't consume his everyday life outside of his
You
work.
want to walk
So
through the mall
yeah,
doing stuff like this?
yeah, he wasn't. This is my next move for my next show. Like
Yeah, right,
it
right, right.
wasn't. It wasn't weird. So Bashir, but they call niggas tricks. Is a
That's
disrespectful business.
disrespectful.
No, it is. Okay, so listen, this is the thing. As soon as somebody is called a trick and says that they don't like it, I'm type of person, I don't care what they're doing with their money. I wouldn't call them that no more. Especially if I just used it like and didn't know it would be disrespectful to them. If they verbalized, yo, I don't like being
I
called
think
that.
everybody know
I'm
use a
merely
trick is kind of
I'm merely
disrespectful.
a patron of sexual services. I would say, you know what, you right, my bad,
No,
I
he's a
apologize.
valuable
But I'm
customer.
that
Get it
type of
right.
person.
He's a
I'm
valuable
I
customer.
don't think I don't think patrons should be disrespected for buying sexual services either. Get your love how you get your love, love. Not gold diggers. That was Floyd. Floyd say not gold diggers.
Yeah,
A disrespectful term. So Charles Boyd said chick does have a negative connotation. So
I agree.
okay, Tanya, not a goodie bag. Frank wants to go give.
You gotta look out for me.
Hmm.
I mean, I've came, I've conquered. Look
Yep.
out for me.
So
I like that, like the other podcast. They were talking about giving a little goodie bags when you leave out.
right.
Yeah, give me some. Give me $20 for the Uber ride. You know what I'm saying? And thank you for your service card. Do sex workers get gifts for Christmas like you give the FedEx guy and your barber?
so
Should
what
they get gifts?
Bashir said, with the STD that plagued the black community, how doesn't it affect you for debate's sake? Okay, why do you think sex workers are out here just having sex without protection automatically? Why? Where
They're
did
probably,
that
they're probably gonna be the safest. Those probably
That's
the
what I'm saying.
yeah
Like
yeah.
that
They're
that
probably the
means
safest.
that you're automatically assuming that they're out here raw dogging. And like I said, if you actually like took the time to like, I don't know, everybody not on Twitter,
I
but I've
think more
I've
sex
watched Twitter,
STDs
I've
are coming from
watched
that fake love. Yeah,
STDs are coming from people who trusted somebody to raw dog with. If
that
that is
fake
a
the fake
person's
love.
job, if that's a person's job, and for those who don't know, I've watched certain documentaries. We all saw Real Sex and all that. Certain documentaries about those porn stars who wrote raw dog, they're constantly tested. So at the end of the day, you're assuming basically that they're having sex unprotected,
Hey,
and
but you know what?
that's not an assumption that I automatically make. So
The male porn star, I can't think of his name. She right. He had an STD and he was moving
yeah,
around the
but
community.
this was
So
like,
I guess
and
that's something
because
to
of
think about. You
him,
can't push it off.
well, listen, because of him, no, from my understanding, I heard about that other stricter protocols were put in place. So it was kind of like, unfortunately, trial and error. But once that particular porn star had gave it, and I remember this was like early 2000s, so I know what you're
Okay.
talking about. But I do believe that certain things were set in place. So Maisha say, I don't judge them. That whole life looks fun and luxurious. Sure do. So Tanya, formally,
Everything but
okay.
glitter
So
ain't
listen,
gold,
this is good input. So she said, formerly being in that business, I felt folks were weirdos that spoke against what we did, but yet they were my biggest customers. They're You're a walking contradiction. If they're walking contradictions. That's what I'm saying. If they got too disrespectful verbally or physically, that's when I would shut them down. And to be honest, the one that behaved that way is always a POC. Hmm.
though. I don't know what the hell it is.
PLC. Let me think. I'm thinking of my. I'm gonna figure
Person
it
of
out.
color. Person of color.
Oh,
Person of
person of
color.
color. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
we ain't
yeah.
got the money. That's why we broke. Want to talk down on trying to talk about you ain't
But
getting no
that's the
pussy.
thing. I literally think some of these men. I think some of these men too. They go out and they get these women just to disrespect them because it's literally. I just want to have sex with her and be disrespectful. Like they get their rocks off to that, and something
Right.
is
Some
wrong with
people may.
you.
Some
You need
people may.
therapy, not sex.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
is wrong with you.
Some
If
people
you
may
pay,
though. That's kind of
if
like the rapist. You might they may do
Yeah,
that.
like you pay people to basically be violent. You're weird. You're weird.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
you're weird.
no, not
You're
weird
weird.
because everybody
You're weird.
likes something. So
You
let
want
them
to
like
be,
what
but
they like.
listen, violence. Anytime it's taken to, so
So that
I
could be up under the dominatrix. That could be up under that shit. Like
I
that could
always say
be.
what you can sign up to be. If that's the case, that means that you need to get the right service. So if you're a dom, if you're a dom and you want a submissive, you need to pay for that. Not every prostitute or stripper is a submissive. Pay for the service. You're being cheap
Yeah.
because
He cheating.
there's
He
women
trying to
that'll
skip
let
the line.
you.
He trying to
Yeah,
skip the
there's
line.
women that'll let you beat on them and stuff. Like you can whoop
Yeah, as
them
long
and
as the
spank
price is
them.
right.
Hey, they'll let you burn them with a
Right.
cigarette. You know.
Really?
So Bashir,
That
yeah,
shit
you
lasts.
gotta
That's
be super
forever.
weird to pay for porn.
Right.
So let me
Yeah.
see, Shane. It's more intimate than sexual. That would be a dope job. I'd cuddle for money. It's a lady in Houston. I don't know if y'all heard about her. It was
Seen
a
it on
news
the
story.
news. Yeah.
She hugs for money. I
What
just
if
I
we
just don't want to
spooning?
smell people hair. Like if that be I be thinking about how people smell. I could
But
do it. Like I'll hold you, but you might
yeah.
stink, you know.
Hey, that ain't a bad job. Cuddle for
Yeah,
money,
I would love to cuddle. I cuddle
man.
my kid all
That
the time, especially if it's like for me, if it's like a fat boy and I could just like sink into him. I'd love to
yeah,
hug you, but you gotta smell good though. If you stink, I ain't gonna like that. I ain't gonna
yeah.
like it. Charles,
I
right? Just show me some affection. He's a hugger. He's a hugger. So Tanya, what folks don't realize is those ladies put a lot of work into getting that bag. That's true. They're in the gym
yeah,
working out, working for me. They were taking classes on femininity and self-defense. I invested a lot of money into priming and prepping my
okay,
girls. So to
okay,
have them go to work and be disrespected was not gonna happen. I know that's right. That's when you got to get your muscle, Tanya.
right.
Get the muscle man
Sound
and
like
have
Tanya was the muscle.
I know stacks. I know stacks. So she probably was. So Bashir, ain't nobody giving me $1,000 for this meat. You're not marketing yourself well.
Stop
You
giving it up
never
for free,
know.
boy.
That's your fault.
Yeah,
Why are you
we need to unite across America. No more free meat.
Bashir? I feel like they would. You just not marketing yourself. We can speak offline. Now
You can help them with that.
I charge a fee for my consultation,
Yeah, you
but
can help them with that.
we could work on some pics, getting, we could
Yeah,
get you
it's
some
all about the angles.
enhancement.
It's all about the angles to make it look bigger.
Hey,
When they get there and it's already paid,
just
the deposit
saying.
is non-refundable. Yeah,
That's it. That's all
yeah.
that's it. Okay, so let me get to some of these other comments. So TJ Roan said I dated a stripper. Okay.
Okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Like that was
Yeah,
just her job.
yeah. She went to work.
Jaterica said, look, a bit can get to twirling on that pole and I'm throwing some money. Do your thing, girl. I know
Go
that's
to work,
right.
baby. Go to work. It's a craft because everybody can't get up and do that.
What? It's
Yeah,
acrobatic skills. Do you know how
straight
strong they
up.
have to be? Okay, Rick, it's called
My boy.
Paymaster.
Rick, where were you last week, man? I was looking for you.
He was looking for the troll.
Yeah,
Okay, we in the industry, Tanya, we in the industry never caught our customers trick. That's a
that's the
street
street
term.
term.
That's true. Like, cause you
Yeah.
respect each other, girl. This is a
Because without
transaction,
them, that's no you. So yeah, you definitely
right?
can't disrespect
It's
them.
a whole transaction, man. People got to understand that it's business. Sparkle, is it just me? I shouldn't have to fuck for free. Hey,
Yeah.
everybody, you can monetize. I'm a firm
Hold
believer.
on. Let me no sex. It's fair exchange, no robbery.
Right, that's
But
true. But
yes,
could you
if you selling,
monetize it?
yeah, if you monetize it and he pay for it, then it is what it is.
Right, absolutely. For sure, legalizing selling sex, but I did make that assumption. Okay, not from the
Vids
those
on
of
Twitter.
this on
I ain't
Twitter.
seen
I
that
ain't seen the
comment yet.
comment yet. Well, that's when. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I just
But
downloaded Twitter while we talking because they say Twitter porn is the best. So I'll
it's
let y'all
all
know
it's
next week.
amazing, and they
I'll let
catch
y'all know next week.
and Twitter porn catches the right time and loops it. I'll be like, yes,
Yeah,
take me
yeah.
straight to it. Anyway, but yeah, so that goes back to what I said, Wes, as far as them having certain protocols that we are not aware of behind the scenes. I do
Safeties
feel
and testings and things like
right.
that.
It was
Oh, you
Brian
said Brian
Palmer.
Pumper who had the STD?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so we're gonna read a couple of more. I think he caught it off duty. Charles say he caught it off duty. Huh. Well,
yeah.
damn.
He was
So
still getting the booty
how you get
off
fired on your
duty.
day off?
Yeah. Still getting the
Y'all
booty.
know Charles say y'all know his name.
I didn't know his name.
So let me see. Are you still in the business? Okay. Yeah, you here. Y'all better make
He
these
might have a
connections.
customer. She might have a customer.
Now she go get me right for this
For the
$40.
40.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Somebody out there for the 40. Everybody don't want 200. Some people want
Hey
40.
Gabby.
Hey,
All right,
Gabby.
man. So yeah, we definitely Floyd Ray, he said no more free meat. Put it on a t-shirt.
No more free meat. So if you need consultation, you need to hit up us up at
So,
axotcpodcast@gmail.com.
yep. And
And I'll go ahead.
I think we all as far as the sex workers goes, for the most part, we appreciate them, we respect them. Get that money. Don't let that money make you.
Right.
Make that money. Don't let that
Don't
money
let that
make
money
you.
make you. I think this though, man. If to survive in this world is hard, like in
It
today's
is.
time, So whatever you do, you're not forcing anybody to buy you. You're not
Mm-hmm.
conning anybody. You ain't fooling them. They leave happy. They leave satisfied. And you can go
Fair
home and feed.
exchange.
Yeah, you can go home and feed your family. What's the
You can go
problem?
on. You can go on with your life. Well, that's where we at, man. Thank y'all
Hey,
for tuning in,
hey, thank y'all for tuning in on the Cool Podcast, man. We appreciate the love.
and we will see you next week.
7 p.m.